Forget everything you thought about Ferrari's steering. For years, they engineered their cars to feel smooth, controlled, and predictable, prioritizing comfort over raw, unfiltered performance. And that made perfect sense, until Lewis Hamilton walked into Maranello. See, this isn't just a story about speed, it's a story about control, about what happens when a 7-time world champion gets behind the wheel of a car that wasn't built for him, and immediately realizes something's off. Hamilton didn't storm in making complaints. He did what he always does. He listened to the car, and within the first few laps he noticed a subtle delay, not a dramatic flaw, but a soft hesitation between what his hands did and how the car responded. To most drivers it might have gone unnoticed, but not to Lewis. He doesn't look for comfort. He looks for truth. Direct connection, immediate feedback, no filter between hand and tire. Ferrari, on the other hand, had spent years perfecting the opposite. Their lead driver, Charles Leclerc, had adapted to that muted style. To him, the slight dullness in the steering wasn't a bug. It was normal. It was part of the car's DNA. But Hamilton saw it for what it really was. A sickness, not in the hardware, but in the thinking behind it. While Ferrari called it fine-tuning, Lewis saw it as compensation, and he had the data to prove it. He didn't just voice concerns, he showed the numbers. Torque traces, input-response lag, micro-corrections. It was all there, buried under layers of comfort-first engineering. And for the first time, Ferrari had to face a reality they hadn't questioned in years. Their beloved steering system wasn't precise. It was protected, filtered, muted. It wasn't helping the driver, it was holding him back. Imagine that. All these years, Leclerc had been driving with a hidden handicap. He didn't know it because no one ever challenged it. Until now. Until someone with the experience, confidence, and data to back it up stepped in and said, "This isn't good enough." That moment didn't just shift the conversation, it cracked open the foundation of Ferrari's philosophy. Let me ask you, would you rather drive a car that's stable and forgiving, or one that's sharp, raw, and brutally honest? Drop your vote in the comments because this debate is just getting started. And hey, if you're into this kind of deep F1 breakdown, subscribe to our channel and enable the notification bell. Your subscription is very important to us. Help us grow and reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers. You won't want to miss what comes next. Hamilton wasn't interested in small tweaks or polite adjustments. He wanted a complete overhaul. When he saw that delay in the steering response, he didn't ask Ferrari to nudge it here or there. He demanded a full override of the steering logic, the very brain controlling how the car reacts to his input. To Ferrari, this was sacred territory, something never questioned so deeply. But to Lewis, it was the root of the problem. You see, in Formula One, every millisecond and micro movement counts. When you're racing at the edge, you can't afford delays or filters between what you want the car to do and what it actually does. Hamilton's override removed all the software assistance that had been smoothing over the steering response for years. Suddenly, the car was raw, aggressive, and brutally honest. Test drivers thought it felt too harsh. Not like a Ferrari at all, but the simulator doesn't care about reputation. It only cares about performance. And the numbers told a clear story. Hamilton's setup slashed correction rates, improved lap-to-lap consistency, and all but eliminated that numb patch, the dead zone in steering feel that Ferrari had long accepted as normal. Internally, Ferrari's engineers started calling the old steering setup a compensated illness. Too much assistance, too little truth. One mechanic put it simply, if you need software to drive straight, the car isn't healthy. That hit home. Hamilton's override wasn't just a technical change, it was a power shift. Suddenly, the data wasn't just numbers, it was a message. Ferrari's pride in their comfort-first philosophy was clashing with pure, measurable performance. A quiet meeting was called. No cameras, no media, just Hamilton and the core engineering team. He laid out the telemetry, steering input versus response. The delay wasn't huge, but it was enough to matter. He calmly asked, "Would you race with this much delay? Between your hands and the car?" No one answered. The silence spoke volumes. Then Lewis sealed it. "I can adjust to your floor, but if we lose, it's not my name on the problem." That wasn't defiance. It was accountability. Let me ask you, if a legend like Hamilton says the steering setup is flawed, would you trust him over years of tradition? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear your take. And if you're enjoying this deep dive into Ferrari's engineering battle, please like this video. It helps more F1 fans discover these stories we break down just for you. Inside Ferrari's garage, the atmosphere quietly shifted. Hamilton's override wasn't just changing his car, it was dividing the entire team. While Leclerc kept running the old steering map he had grown used to, Hamilton's new setup was rewriting the rules. 2 cars, 2 philosophies, 2 very different approaches under one roof. Leclerc's simulator times started slipping, no longer safe territory. Meanwhile, Hamilton's laps tightened, became more efficient and consistent. Engineers noticed the difference, and chatter began filling internal chats and meeting rooms. One recurring phrase kept popping up: "We've been masking flaws for years." Suddenly, what had been accepted as normal became undeniable. A technician, speaking off the record, revealed that Leclerc's steering input in certain sectors required nearly twice the micro-corrections just to stay online. That wasn't driving. It was compensating. Hamilton's telemetry, on the other hand, told a different story. Clean arcs, fewer corrections, sharper exits. Ferrari introduced a new metric called response delta consistency, measuring how much a driver needed to adjust after each steering input. The results were clear. Hamilton's setup demanded less correction, meaning better stability and efficiency. This wasn't just about comfort anymore. It was about performance. The baseline Ferrari had trusted for years was now exposed as flawed, not just in theory, but in measurable reality. By the time they rolled into Spa, the mood inside Maranello had changed. This wasn't just another race. It was a referendum on Ferrari's future. Track walk day brought a rare moment. Hamilton and Leclerc stood side by side, the tension palpable. An engineer overheard Hamilton say one simple line: "You feel it or you don't." No reply came. Hamilton's hands moved calmly, confidently. The message was clear. Behind the scenes, Leclerc doubled down on simulator time, trying to catch up, while Hamilton's requests for adjustments were now processed without delay. The team's hierarchy was evolving. One engineer summed it up: "We're pivoting around Lewis now, not politics, but performance." So what do you think? Should Ferrari have trusted Hamilton's setup for both cars? Vote yes or no in the comments. Your opinion matters here. And if this story is grabbing your attention, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Help us grow this community of passionate F1 fans. Your support means everything. As the team prepared for Spa, the stakes couldn't have been higher. Hamilton's impact was undeniable. Engineers quietly ran tests with his steering logic, while Leclerc pushed himself harder in the simulator, trying to close the growing gap. The atmosphere inside Ferrari was tense, but focused. This wasn't just a race anymore. It was a battle for the team's identity. For years, Ferrari's philosophy had been clear: build a car that was stable, comfortable, and predictable. But now, Hamilton's raw and aggressive approach was forcing them to reconsider everything. The old way, steeped in legacy and pride, was clashing with a new reality driven by data and performance. During the track walk, Hamilton and Leclerc again stood side by side. Hamilton's calm confidence was obvious, his hands moving with certainty. Leclerc's doubled simulator hours showed his determination to adapt, but inside the team, the shift was happening. Hamilton's Feedback wasn't just being heard, it was shaping new designs. Behind the scenes, engineers started sketching new steering logic quietly. It wasn't official yet, but it was serious. Hamilton's style was becoming the blueprint for Ferrari's future. Mechanics began tweaking processes and aligning with this fresh data-driven approach. This wasn't rebellion, it was survival. Let me ask you, if you had to choose, would you stick with Ferrari's traditional way or embrace this new, aggressive transformation? Vote now in the poll. Your voice helps us shape the conversation here. And if you want to follow every twist of this story, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We're bringing you all the latest from the front lines of F1 innovation. The lights at Spa weren't just signaling the start of a race. They were signaling a crossroads for Ferrari. Inside Maranello, two philosophies were on track. One steeped in tradition, the other driven by raw data and a champion's instincts. Hamilton's steering override wasn't just about how the car turned, it was about how Ferrari would move forward. The telemetry didn't lie. Hamilton's sharper, more responsive setup was showing results. Leclerc's car still reflected years of comfortable engineering, refined and safe. But safety and comfort wouldn't win this battle. It was performance that counted, and Hamilton's method was redefining it. That race became more than a fight for points. It became a statement. If Hamilton took victory with his steering setup, Ferrari's legacy would be forced to evolve. The myth of the only way Ferrari does things was under threat. For the first time in years, Maranello faced a choice: stick to the past or embrace a future shaped by raw precision and unfiltered connection. Behind the scenes, the factory was already changing. Early sketches of new steering logic centered on Hamilton's feedback. Engineers and mechanics alike had begun adapting their mindset. This wasn't mutiny. It was survival, because in Formula One, to survive, you have to evolve. So here's the question: do you think Hamilton is steering Ferrari toward a better future? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. This story is far from over, and your voice is part of it. If you've followed this journey with us, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on. We're going to keep you front and center on every twist and turn of this incredible saga. Your subscription really means a lot. Help us hit that 1,000 subscriber goal so we can bring even more insider F1 stories just like this. Because sometimes a steering wheel doesn't just turn a car, it turns a whole factory.